Okay, guys, hello. This is Fred with a new video series on Unigine for Unity developers. So you're gonna ask yourself, what is Unigine? Okay, let's get started, and I'll tell you through it everything we learned in those few months of development. As long as I can have my presentation go. All right. So we are a team of three developers, one coder, me, a character and vehicle artist and an environment artist working on this project that we plan to release on next year, okay, 2021. I'm recording this video as of October 2020. And here is our experience. I had 8 years in Unity, about 3 years in Unreal, using blueprints and C++. I'm mostly a physics developer, and after starting our project in Unreal Engine, okay, up until April this year, we discovered Unigine. So basically, there is this guy here, which you probably know. His name is Mike. On the Games from Scratch YouTube channel. He announced April 8th, he actually pre-announced because it came out 1 week later, about this Unigine Community free. And so it was April, and I started checking it out, and I checked it out thoroughly, I would say, for a couple of weeks. And then I got back to my team and said, hey guys, I think we have to switch engine. And you know how hard it is to switch engines when you started a project. I've been in the project for about 1 year, you developing it in Unreal, and we were at a good point. But I thought that since it was probably a 2 to 3 years project, we could port most of our work to Unigine and start working with it. So after this video, many others came out, and I would say Mike in Games from Scratch, follow him, go in his Discord. It's an incredible community. He's an expert in game engine, and I can see he loves it. He loves it too a lot. Not only him, after a while, it's kind of picking up steam slowly. Nitrogen, another great website, talking about game development and such. He said, okay, I'm trying out Unigine, must be one of my best decisions in this past month. And then he goes and explains why. Okay, he's talking about environmental design. Okay, and then the community slowly picking. This is a very experienced developer, Stefano or Kunos. He's developing, and he can also follow him on his channel, Stefano Casillo. And he's very experienced. I mean, he's a professional game developer with many games released. This guy was creating his own game engine from scratch, okay, was using Rust language. So he's also switching to Unigine, and he's actually having regular Twitch on game development. Very nice to watch, very fun. This is his wife, and they're going through the engine in C++. And so okay, a lot of nice graphics. You can go on ArtStation, type in Unigine, and you'll see incredible rendering things, such as this Mars landscape done by a very talented artist using Word Machine and obviously Unigine. And then this is a very special project because it uses a procedural generation of those meshes you see here. So really, but interesting. Okay, and this is the lighting you can actually get out of the box. This is an incredible project. It was also featured on ATLV, which is one of my favorite game art websites. And I mean, this is the rendering of interiors in Unigine. Being a developer, I don't get just impressed by, a code developer by rendering. It's nice. I mean, this compares, I'd say, to Unreal. Some say it's kind of sharper than Unreal. It's different, but I really like the clarity of the rendering in Unigine, and you can actually very easily tweak it. You know, the reflections here and the lights. So this is what we're talking about. I just wanted to show you that from scratch, so that you know. This is actually David Prestino. He's one of our team. Okay, he is also working on his own product, and he has his own Blender low poly channel. And let me take out the audio. And he's doing this monastery in. He's doing also courses on okay, on the he has his own website, and he does courses as well, lessons on Udemy. Sorry, it came to me. So Unigine, Unigine. If you go to the website, this is the official Unigine website. It explains a little bit, and I'll explain it in a second. And let me go back to my presentation. Okay, we found the perfect game engine, so why? Okay, I would say easy as Unity, and I will take this series of video. I come from Unreal and Unity, so I'll make some references to Unity and Unreal, but I think it's especially interesting for people using Unity with immediate results. I'm talking about graphics results like Unreal. Okay, so let's go. What is Unigine? And people don't know Unigine. So it started as a professional game / simulation engine. Okay, in 2005. So it's not a new software. It's been there for about 15 years. Okay, and it's not a small company. It's not a garage type of project. There is 50 developers working at Unigine offices, which are in Russia, full time. So it's very, very solid. It used to be an expensive engine. I think, in the tens of thousands of dollars for simulation. And there is a video on their YouTube channel that explains what type of customers they have. It's very interesting, very instructive if you're interested about the engine history in general and Unigine history in general. You'll see it came out a couple of weeks ago. Okay, from Dan Shergin, which is the owner. So the game engine is Windows only, and I would say Linux Windows and Linux. Sorry. And it has console support coming soon. This was announced a couple of weeks ago, so it's not yet ready for consoles, but it's in their workflow. It targets high-end devices. So Dennis Shergin mentioned that no Android, no iOS for those. He said use Unity or Godot or other engines because he wants to target high-end, which is what this engine is very good at. And I think it's a very smart choice. I mean, you cannot be perfect at everything. So it used to be Unigine 1 used to be available for several platforms, but then obviously maintaining all those platforms was very expensive. And so he decided he would concentrate on Windows, and now is going back to consoles, which is very good. Okay, they plan on having an asset store, but they don't have one. But I can tell you something, because we had the same issue, and we had this project in Unreal, and I bought a ton of assets in Unity in the past. Truth is, when you go to those asset stores, you can, in the license from the product, I'm pretty sure in Unreal, because I checked that out, but I'm pretty sure also in Unity. Since if you buy art assets, and you can export them, you can use them in any engine. Okay. The only limitation in the Unreal Asset Store, you cannot use the Epic Games asset, which is those fantasy characters, high-end fantasy characters. Otherwise, you can go on the asset, write asset things that you can do, export to FBX and import to Unigine. I did that at the beginning before My two art, I mean, the artist, the vehicle artist, picked up on me moving into Unigine, but it works perfectly well. And many of the assets that you see in our things is actually come from Unreal or Unity. Some of them. Actually, the four boxes you see here are on the top one is the Unity Community release presentation. The second one is the sim presentation because it gives you something slightly different. The third one is actually our landscape that we did in a few months, I would say in 3 months. This is a 600 kilometers, square kilometers landscape, even though our game will have a much larger landscape. And at the bottom one, there is a slideshow of the work in progress. We're working on a rescue helicopter type of game, a simulator where you have to go and fly and rescue people and things like that. And this is the work in progress. The two bottom screens you see there are actually a work in progress. And we are very happy. Everybody's very happy with how fast it was for us to get to this level of quality. And I mean, this is a work in progress. I mean, we have to fix, grass distance and tree LODs and imposters and all the beautiful things that Unigine has. Okay. You can code in C# or C++. Okay. I mentioned before Kunos, Stefano. This series of video, since I think I actually prefer C#. I will just do the tutorials in C#. If you're interested in C++, check out the Stefano Casillo YouTube channel I mentioned before, and he's actually doing live streaming of his C++ development. Stefano and I talked, recently, and we are both from Italy, and we agreed on the greatness of the engine and how good it is. And I have some experience, yes, 20 years experiences, and a lot of, very hard to make games in his inventory. Okay, so I think I felt reassured that he had my same opinion about Unreal Unigine. As I said, Unigine especially targets high-end rendering and especially open spaces, even though, as you saw, and in the art station things, it can do very well rendering of interiors as well. Okay. And well, Unigine, as you know, maybe you don't know it, you can find a lot of, if you check out Unigine on YouTube, you come up with a lot of benchmarks. This is what they did. And so they work very closely with hardware vendors such as NVIDIA to do those benchmarks where you actually tune your computer and such. But their main business has been the professional simulation, but this is what they're known for. So if you find benchmarks, this is where it comes from. And I would say the key values are stability, very stable engine, very solid performance, which is very good, especially on if you have to do 1 million trees. The videos you see there, I mean, we had, I think, 4 million trees in that island, which we are featuring, the 600 square kilometer island. But we plan on 600 square kilometer exactly. This is a real world island, which is 30 and something kilometers by 20. But we plan on having 100 by 100 kilometer terrain. So, how much does it cost? Because I said it was expensive. Well, it's free. Unigine Community is free for project or companies that do less than $100,000 revenue. And it supports scenes of the size up to 10 by 10 kilometers, okay? This is because Unigine can either use single precision floats or double precision floats. But as I will explain later, you can actually start a project very easily in one way and end up with the other. Well, if you have over $100,000 revenue, you have to pay $150 a month. And if you want double precision plus import of OpenStreetMap data, I mean, if you're a good developer, you can code that yourself, adapting a Unity asset store asset. That's what I do a lot in general. I just, Unity asset store, I buy assets to dissect them and understand how they did this specific thing, and then I adapt it to my need. Anyways, if you want a larger scene, double precision, check out on the internet what is the difference between a single float and a double precision float. Basically, double precision will allow you to have a much higher precision and thus render in a single engine a very, very large environment. In this case, it might cost you $6,000 per year, or I would say $500 a month. Okay, if you just budget it well. So it's expensive, but you don't really need that, especially to start. We have a project where we'll end up needing that engineering edition, which is the more expensive one, the one that costs $6,000. Then there is a sim version, which has even more feature, but I would say for displays, external displays. There is a full video made by Dan Shergin explaining all that. But you don't, at the beginning, you just need the community free edition. So start using this one. And if you end up needing much larger worlds, you might, at a certain point, switch to engineering. Also, you can ask a free trial of engineering and sim version. Just write them up. Could I try it? And you'll see there is no difference. I did that. You can have, usually they give you 1 month trial. You can check it out when you're convinced, but there is not that much difference, okay? I tested it, but I kept on working on community. That was easier. But then I also tested for the large terrain you see in the third video. This is running on Sim Edition. The trial I had, I created a build, but it's just a matter of moving the code and everything works. You use preprocessor directives, so it's very easy to move to that one. And so, why do I think this is different? Okay, well, first of all, it's great for high-end open-world games. Think about first-person shooters, multiplayer games with open worlds, flight simulators, car simulators, sailing simulators, which is what Stefan is doing. And actually, he's going to use the community. He told me he's going to use the community edition. He doesn't think he needs the engineering edition, even though I think he's so happy about the product, he'll end up buying it. But so open world game with a lot of trees, a lot of buildings. You have a lot of ways to optimize. And I'll do that in further videos. I'll tell you how to use their tools to optimize rendering of high open world terrains, which is partly what we did in the videos. In the third video, which is our large terrain that you see rolling right now along the beach. Very nice, Look at the detail of the rocks, and very nice. It uses a very advanced terrain system that actually they updated their terrain system in December last year, and they have this new multi-layer terrain system based on mega textures. If you don't know what mega textures are, those are very large textures that the software can stream from your hard disk, thus giving you an incredible performance, but you can have texture hundreds of thousands of pixels per side, and it will actually pick the part of the texture that it needs. All this in a layer system that will allow you, as I will explain later, to modify your terrain and add layers at different resolutions based on what you want to show, and so in a very, very efficient way. I'm a physics developer, and I can say the physics engine is extremely good. I've been using physics in Unity. I've been using physics in Unreal. And Unreal, I really did not like the physics at all. My joints broke for some reason, no reason. I know they're now launching a new physics engine, but I mean, Unigine physics is great. Okay, and I will tell you where to go and look for some samples in the next video. You have a lot of free open world assets. Water, what you see in our video is actually their water, no changes. Volumetric clouds. The clouds as well are the ones that come out of the box. They're going to have a new version of clouds coming up, I would say, in a couple of months. With a new release, they announced it already, and they look even better than the old ones. So I'm very happy for our project because clouds, especially if you fly, are quite important. And they do about 4 updates per year. Okay, they're frequent and well documented. They'll tell you what changes. And in the next video, I'll go through how to get started with Unigine, and I will tell you where to actually get the very interesting history about this engine. Nothing also Discord or forums. If you go in the Unigine forums, you will have some other users answering to you, like in Unity or Unreal, but most of the time it's one of the guys from Unigine that nicely takes his time and goes and answers to you directly. Obviously, if you do a smart question, they will help you, especially on Monday to Friday, since they're based in Russia. Check out the office hours. Okay, so since I'm in Europe, I know that until Friday early afternoon it's okay, and then I'll have to wait for Monday. But usually you get an answer within the day, or maybe even a few hours. Okay, or immediately sometimes on Discord. What I love about this engine is the fast code iteration in C#, and it uses the last version of .NET Core. Very, very quick from code to your scene and back. Actually, I sometimes don't even open the editor. The editor is just to place things, okay? You can use the editor, you can launch from the editor, you can launch from Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. I use Visual Studio, but many use Visual Studio Code. So it's actually it flows very well. The work flows in a fantastic way, okay? And also, the asset workflow is very good. I have the 2 guys in my team, so Davide and Thomas. I did never mention. Thomas is doing the nice helicopters and hangars and all the hero assets. It was very easy for them to port to Unigine. Now Thomas is working also on character animations, using very nice software such as Character Creator and animation, Mixamo animations and Marvelous Designer for clothing. So this is the type of game we're doing. So kind of high quality, very easy to import. Your FBXs, meshes, your animations, make them work in the engine. And finally, I don't know if you guys ever tried to implement modding in Unity or Unreal. And this is not native, I would say, very complicated. In Unreal, it should be easier. They even have a forum for modding. But honestly, you have to learn to use Unreal Engine in order to mod. Whereas here, it's very simple. You have assets, mesh assets, animation assets, textures, and text files. So it all is very open and clear. I will do a tutorial, when I'll talk about, the inner workings of Unigine, which I plan to do a video on that, because this is one thing I think it's important to understand. You will see how easy it would be to replace a texture or to add a mesh to your game for somebody wanting to mod it. On scripting, they have a scripting which is called Unigine Script, but it will be deprecated. So there are different ways to implement scripting. Actually, a very nice game. I just forgot about, mentioning it. And it's a very big game that is being developed in Unigine, is this game here, Dual Universe, okay. This is one of those MMO, okay, Dual Universe. is this incredible space game where you actually build things in your game, and it's all developed in Unigine. It's a huge game, multi-million project. Okay, they are still in alpha, and but they released already, uh, and it's all made in Unigine. Very, very impressive, and they've been working on this project for a few years. Uh, so if people say there are very few games developed in Unigine, okay, wait for us because I mean we're coming. At the same time, there is some incredible game. Nice thing about this game is that actually, since Unigine supports this double precision thing, they can have the whole game, and we're talking about a space game with millions of kilometers of distance, which are actually real millions of kilometer distances, and so they can play multiplayer at a scale which is unprecedented. Okay, so what else? Unigine developer, and I'll come back to those videos. I'll pick up from here from Unity, and I'll tell you how to get started with Unigine. And this ends my current video. See you soon, guys. Bye bye.